What is going on, people? Welcome back to my YouTube channel for another trading recap video. This is from GBP JPY today, July 9th, 2020. It was streamed live on Twitch, as all of my trading sessions are. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how it's important to let the market move first and show its hand first, and then for us as traders to follow suit afterwards. You let the market move and then you hitch a ride with it. And I failed to do that today, and I took a loss, but then I was able to compose myself, get back in this same trade to the downside, make back my loss, and turn a profit. So I want to show you how I did that. Before we get started, if any of these recap videos or any of the content I provide gives you value, all you have to do is just give it a thumbs up. It helps me get it out to more traders. And if you really like this stuff, think about hitting the subscribe button just so that you don't miss all the other upcoming videos that I'm going to be posting on this YouTube channel. But enough of that, let's talk about the trade. So here's what it looked like by the end of the day on GBP JPY, but really how it looked when I came into the market today was something along the lines of this. Overall, as I'm doing my top-down analysis, I go into the higher time frames and I'm like, yeah, man, this is looking like it's moving higher. TDI in a buying condition, price action moving up. I don't want to call an end to this. Why would I? I see highs right here. Seems highly probable that if price is going to move higher, it's probably going to try and check these highs. So I'm anticipating more momentum to the upside. I do recognize that it has been moving up a lot and it hasn't corrected, but that's not the first thing in my mind. The first thing in my mind is, what's it doing? It's moving higher. I want to stay with that. So what I did was I started watching it, and I was looking on the lower time frame here on a 5-minute, which is a time frame that I really like to trade and where I find a lot of my entries. Now, at the time, I didn't have this box drawn, but as price action started consolidating, I went and I drew my square, as I like to use squares to help me contain price. It's just something that I use. It's one of my tools. I use channels and squares. And I said, what I want to see is I want to see price move either to the upside of this box or the downside, but preferably to the upside because I'm trying to take it long. And that's exactly what I got here at 920. And this looks like it could potentially be moving stronger. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. Let me take a look. It does look like it's not quite divergent. It's a little iffy. It's a little iffy. It does look like it's breaking out though. Now the mistake, number one, is that I took the impulse out. But the TDI is in a buying condition. It looked like it was going to be a breakout, and I was assuming that I was catching the early push. Now, back to what I said at the beginning of the video. We should really let the market show its hand first. Break, a retest, and then a push, and you take the next push because it shows us this level is going to be a level of support. I jumped in early thinking this thing was going to keep moving, and unfortunately it just didn't hold. I don't know. I'm a little bit not feeling on this trade. I think I might need to get out of this thing. It's back at the box now on the 5-minute. Because it kind of broke up. Now it's right back at this range. Does it hold the range? I don't think so. I close this trade. I'm getting out of this. This is wrong. As this candle was driving down, my stop was down at 66. I closed this out at about 69. So I pulled it about 3 pips early and saved myself a couple of dollars. I couldn't close it fast enough. This thing was just absolutely falling to hell. And I said, uh-oh, I jumped the gun. I know I'm wrong. So I cut the trade early and was like, okay, whatever. No harm, no foul. Take the loss. I saved myself the 2%. Let's just keep it moving. Like I tell you guys a lot, I don't like to take the first break. I like to see it break, retest, and then give me another bullish engulfing confirmation. Had I waited, I would have saved myself. And now potentially it breaks low, comes up, and then throws bearish engulfing, and then I could take it short. In the meantime, I went over to other pairs. I have 5 on my list. I was looking around. I was looking at the DXY. Potentially, you can see back here at the same time around 9:30. I said this looks like it might actually be making a higher low here, and this is divergent as well. You could see that it was kind of falling through this channel like this, kind of this descending channel. How it was just falling, 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 and then it broke out. And then it kind of retested, pushed higher, retested again, and started to move. And I said, okay, this thing might actually be moving. As you could see, that market sentiment was starting to shift into more of a buying condition. So I said, all right, if DXY is going to come higher, then likely I'm going to see EU come to the downside. I'm getting short on EU with a stop at 35. So I'm above this 1 minute structure here. Let's see if I can get it to push. And again, I had it falling here, it was moving up, and then I was in it down here. And I said, wait a minute, you're just really jumping on this short, but it could come back and retest this area where it broke out, this kind of ascending channel, if you will. It broke the channel. It should retest, as I like to see. I like to see breaks and retests. And on the retest, that's where I look to make my move for the next push. What happened was I was in down here a little bit aggressively. So I real quick closed it out, and I took just a $10 loss because I said, wait a minute, this might not be right. I'm going to close this trade for a second. I want to make sure that this isn't finding support to move higher. So I want to keep an eye on this real quick. I don't want to be early like I was on GJ. So then, because it was a wild morning, I was all over the place, and I didn't get a lot of great sleep last night, so maybe that was affecting me. I went back to GJ. Here it is. See what I'm saying? Break, retest, bearish engulfing. Maybe I can get short GJ if I feel really feisty. This was a little bit of a dicey entry if you look at it. This was kind of falling. It was kind of holding the trend line. But as I was looking on the 15-minute chart, I was feeling confident that this was actually divergent. 3.5 minutes, see what it does. This is what I didn't wait for on this, because I would have saw it break back into the box and I would be like, nah, that's wrong. I took the break out. You want to take the correction. This is the correction. Break, correct, and then potentially push. This is not the best buying TDI I've ever seen in my life. That's why I sell could be probable. I would take a stop at like 70, like I said. It's about 10 pips. I'm short GJ again. Or not again, but I'm in GJ again. I'm short this time. I'm in at 55. My stop is 70, so it's 15 pips. So I need 30. But let's see if this thing really rips. So 55, I need to get it down to 135.25. Need to get it down here. Back into this area. So essentially, this is what my trade looked like. Because of the spread, I was in at 54.9. Also because of the spread, had to put my stop above it, and I was going for 2R down at about 135.25. So once I got into this trade, it really started to move pretty well for me. Like really well. I'm already made back my loss on the day right now. I'm already back in profit. If this thing wants to scream all the way down here to like 05, so I'm going to put it at 135.050 at ADR, but I'm going to eyeball it, and if it hits my 2R, then I'll probably be inclined to pull it. But right now this thing's fallen off pretty well, so I want to just let it fall. But then this candle closed at 10:15, and for the next 15 minutes, it started pulling back on me. And it wasn't looking too hot. So if you look over here on the 15-minute, this is what it did right here. It drove down and closed up like that. And I was not excited to see that. I was looking for more continuation. What I started to recognize was that perhaps this was in fact a level. It could just be hitting this level and using that as support. I'm going to try and stay with it though. See if people are like punching into this market for sells and drive price lower. But I actually really wasn't that nervous about it for some reason. I think it's because when I was looking at this TDI, I was like, look, man, this is a falling TDI. This is not a buying TDI. I don't see any reason why it would be buying here. I want to stay with this, and I want to see what happens in this next candle. I want to see if I get this push, because as I was looking on the 5-minute, and I'll show you, it was break, retest, and confirm as resistance. Break, and then it was retesting. I had moved my stop to break even as this was pulling up, and I said, wait a minute. This might actually be a significant level. This 200 EMA, it might actually come back and hit that before it moves lower. So I then mitigated my risk, and I moved my stop to 60 like that. So I reduced my risk because I had already taken I was already down about 200 bucks, and I was like, let me just reduce my risk real quick, but give myself space, because if it comes higher, then this is probably wrong, and I want to be out of it anyway. But if it comes back here, I want to, give it space to breathe. The market has to breathe. Gonna move my stop just a touch up to 60, actually, just above my entry. So I put my right up here, and as it starts to fall, then maybe I'll move it back down. I just want to give myself a little bit more room just in case it breathes up to this level, because the next candle, it could close here, and the next candle fill the wick and potentially move lower. So you want to give the market room to breathe. I don't want to be right on top of myself. And I was also seeing the potential for a full reset down here at this 800 EMA. I said this might come down and get to this 800 at ADR. I want to give it space. Let this play out. Guess it could definitely come back and fill this wick. I'm going to see how it reacts as we're hitting these lows. If it looks strong, obviously I'm going to stay in it. Now we're getting a little bit of a burst right now, but we've got a lot of time left in this candle. I don't want to give up on it, obviously. That's why I'm staying. That's why I corrected my stop, because I knew it had the potential to come back up and check this. 1 minute's not divergent. It's ripping real good right now. I want to see what happens as we get back towards these lows. Again, there's no exit for me on this yet. There's no reason to get out. There's no reason for me to not believe this is going to come lower, as this is free falling. This is not a buying TDI by any stretch of the imagination. This is a free fall selling TDI right now. I just want to let price fall. I don't want to call a bottom to it. I don't want to call an end until it gets divergent, starts doing things that I understand that it might be. So again, it should at least come and check this low. And if it's going to move lower, it has to come at least test this low. Doesn't have to, but like we said yesterday, I play consistent ideas. And consistently, this is what the market does. And then what happened was it did exactly that. And it drove. As I mentioned, this pair could do like a reset down here. This could, really take off. So I'm trying to stay with it. Yeah, we're ripping now. Come on, push. This is what I'm looking for. We're at the low, coming through. This looks good to keep going. Come on, drive. A little bit more. Moving the stop to 45 just to lock in some of this. But I want to stay with this. I'm 7 pips from my take profit. This thing should fall. Closed it. I just closed it. I'll take the win. I was 2 pips from my take profit. I smashed it for 500. We're up 300 on the day. So we turned a losing day into a winning day and made this week that much stronger. So well done for anybody who took this trade. Like I said, I was so close to my take profit. It'll probably go, but for 2 pips, I'm not worried about 2 pips. I'll take that money. I'll take that bag. I knew what this had the potential to do. I played this really, really well. I knew that it has to come and at least check these lows, if not move lower, to become divergent. It was starting to become divergent as this was lower, and that's why I said, you know what? For 2 pips, it might get there, and it might do this. It might completely fall. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, see? It might completely just fall down to this reset on the 5-minute, like I was potentially seeing. Smashed my take profit right now, and it hit my 2R. I made $500 on the position. I made back my losses. I wound up 300 bucks profitable on the day. And as you can see, had I just been more patient and really trusted what I was seeing, I would have noticed by the end of the day at 4:20 in the afternoon, this did indeed get to my target, which was down here for a full reset to ADR. It just took a lot longer, and I could have wound up getting a lot more out of this. Obviously, my stop, like I said, was more up here at like 70 or so. So it would have been about 3.3 R, something like that, give or take. It would have been a really nice trade, but I got where I wanted to get to. It wound up being a winner. I let the market move first in this instance by coming down, retesting, and showing that it still had more gas to the downside, and that's how I got in. Whereas here, I kind of jumped the gun and I got burnt. So that's why it's important to let the market move first, because while this was in an overall uptrend, you could see it was failing on the TDI to make higher highs and price started to fall off. And what I did was I let the market move first. I got back in, I made my money back, and I ended the day and the week in profit. And that's really what it's about, just trying to take consistent setups the same way over and over and over again, and you will have consistent outcomes. So that's it for this recap video. Thanks so much for checking it out and my channel. I hope that you found the video to be informative. If you liked it, again, just give it a thumbs up so I can help get it out to other traders. And if you really like what I'm doing, make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of the future content that I'm going to be adding on this channel. Also have the Twitch live stream every Monday through Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time to about 11 if you want to see me do this live for the New York session. That's it. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.